Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again this week for Let's Go There. This week, it is a subject that I've been dealing with for, last year because my son this year he's in year 10 and we have to organize work experience for him. And it has been a very grueling experience because we couldn't do anything last year for the application and everything is backlogged now. So I'm very frustrated. And Karen is somebody who's popped out my feed on Facebook, and what she does truly fascinates me. And I didn't think anyone would be so brave to take on this. This is a huge endeavor she's taken on to go up against the education system and to bridge this gap. So who is Karen Dennett? She is an educator. She used to be a teacher, parent, author, speaker, you name it, she's got it. So very qualified. And she's also the founder of, I have it somewhere, Bridging Education or?
Engaging Education.
Engaging Education. So you know me, I've got cannot too much to remember. How about this? I'll let Karen explain to you what is Engaging Education, and then you have a better understanding of why we are here today.
Good morning. Thanks, Karen, and thank you so much for that lovely introduction and for inviting me here to talk about the work that I'm doing and also the subject, which I'm really passionate about. I probably would say that I worked for around 10 years after graduating and went straight into a teaching job in high school, teaching business and enterprise. And straight away, I found that there was a real difference between school world and the outside world. So school kind of, for me, and obviously everything that I say today is just my experiences and how I've evolved from those. But what I could see and observe was that there was a lot of, everything was focused on grades. It was very academic. And there seemed to be a disconnect from the real world. And young people only know what they know. You know, they only know from home, they know from school, and then they go out into the world and they sometimes can get a little bit lost because the skills that they need for the workplace are not the same as the skills that they build to pass assessments and get grades. And what I wanted to do initially with Engaging Education was to give young people that experiential learning, that opportunity to really apply, to learn directly and connect with people in industry, learn how the concepts that they're learning in the classroom, how do they play out in the real world? And how are they used in real job roles? What types of jobs use the skills that they're developing in the classroom? And then in doing so, they engage so much more. They get praise, they get to engage, they get to make decisions, they get to really learn directly from industry in really meaningful experiences. And in doing so, it creates that possibilities mindset of, oh, I could do that. It raises their confidence. And then in turn, what happens then is it increases their aspirations, because once they feel they can do something, they suddenly think, oh yeah, I can do that. And then they have a renewed purpose to learn to achieve that goal. So there's so much that obviously in my experience that went into that, which we can obviously talk about through our discussion, but essentially it's about enabling young people, but also the educators that support them, to help them to have the right resources, the right opportunities, the right engagement with industry, so that we can start to build that possibilities mindset and enable young people to be prepared, have the confidence and the capacity to enter the workforce or university, whatever their next step is.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're watching us live on Facebook, thank you for joining us. And today we have Karen with us. Karen, two Karens today. So the Karen started a company called Engaging Education, and what that is, I mean, in my understanding, which is why I'm so passionate about this topic, is that she understands that there is a gap between education and the real world. I mean, we have all gone through that. And, so if I may just share a quick story though. My son, my oldest, he didn't do very well in mathematics when he was younger because he couldn't understand why he needed to learn what he was learning. And the other teachers couldn't tell him why. They just told him that's part of the syllabus and that's what the government wants you to learn, right? Whoever wrote the syllabus. So a lot of children don't understand, and as a result, they are not interested. Until one day, there was an architect who was taking a year, sabbatical. He decided he wants to dedicate his time to his local school. So what difference did it make? Why this story? He came in and for every concept he taught, he applied it to his work. Oh, you need to learn this because when you're calculating this and this is what we use. And all of a sudden, it all makes sense. And the children got engaged because they got excited. Oh, wow. So this is why I learned this. It's not for no good reason. So that is so valuable though. But unfortunately, a lot of our teachers, they go straight from high school to university. They learn how to teach. However, they don't prepare our children for the industries they want to go into. And so I think to start with, we would like Karen to help us understand better what is this gap exactly that we're talking about between education and the real world. Karen?
Yeah, well, obviously teachers, and I must say this, that I feel that teaching is one of those jobs which is very much like if you're a politician, everybody has got a view on how you should be doing your job. And you are, from an empathy perspective, we all know that experience where we've been judged, and the teachers are prepared to do, as I said before, they're prepared to do a job which is to teach, and it's to teach to assessments, and it's to engage learners, it's to manage behavior, and it's to help young people to learn their subjects.
Yeah.
And that is what teachers are trained to do.
Yep.
And trainers and teachers work really, really hard.
Yes.
And it's something that, we all, teachers have families too, and they're under so much pressure from everybody. And there is this need to, get young people prepared for the workforce. And there is that disconnect between getting young people ready for assessment versus getting young people ready for the workforce.
I know that's hard though, because if they don't get the grades, they're not going to get into university, and then they're not going to get into the job they want. It's like an chicken and egg situation. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And the system is set up for that purpose. It's set up for learning. And there is a lot of really amazing work that is going on in pockets in schools. So you have got lots of passionate teachers who are introducing some amazing STEM. They're introducing some fantastic enterprise initiatives, blogs, posts, running businesses. Some of the vocational education around the country is absolutely fantastic. And there is a lot of good work that is going on. But the difficulty is that schools will always be there to achieve that purpose of assessment, and they have a budget and they've got KPIs and they've got their own targets that they need to reach to be able to deliver that education. And they've also got quite a lot of students with very, very differing needs. And there's a big push. Obviously, we need to differentiate our learning. We need to make sure that we're supporting young people, we're helping them to make progress. So that ability to be able to connect with the real world and to create that experiential learning requires a significant amount of effort and energy on the teacher's part. It also has to be relevant to the teaching. Assessments and the way that the structure is, that some students in year 11 and 12 are doing 12 assessments in that year.
Yeah.
And then they're learning, they're doing an assessment, they're learning, they're doing an assessment, then it's exams. And then you've also got the rest of the school year as well. So you've got carnivals, you've got excursions, you've got charity days, you've got big assemblies, you've got all these other things that are going on around the school, and the school calendar that the teachers are already struggling to fit their job into what they're trying to do with the time they've got available anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is the big problem, is that teachers are then they're being told, you know, you need to be doing more of this. We need to be preparing our students for the workplace. And we do have vet education, which is fantastic, and the intention is great. But again, the teachers struggle because they're locked in this school bubble and this world, and have very limited connections and networks, and there's not enough support for the teachers to empower them and to give them those connections with industry to help them. Everything, the emphasis is placed on them, that they need to organize it, they need to make this happen. And so a lot of the provision out there is hit and miss. And so as an industry, we need to actually look, and as people that are doing everyday jobs and working, we need to look at, well, how can we pay it forward? How can we share some of the knowledge, and how can we pass it on and collaborate and support our teachers to pass on these skills and engage and deliver little bite-sized elements that are going to work with what teachers are trying to achieve, so that we can all do this together. It's not just the teacher's responsibility.
Absolutely.
So that's the big disconnect, is you've got the outside world that relies on the teachers that are doing a job, and you don't have that connection between the two. And, you know, everybody could play a part in passing on some knowledge and building that industry awareness and supporting teachers. It's just finding a way that it can happen that doesn't add more pressure to teachers, and it doesn't require significant effort from people who are already busy in their own lives as well. So we need to find a way to do it really effectively and strategically.
Yeah, I like that. So that will take us to the next section, though, where what can we do as parents? How can we help to bridge this gap?
Well, I would probably say it's really hard as a parent. I'm a parent myself, and I can honestly say that my two teenagers, I've got a 9-year-old as well, my two teenagers, once they reached a certain age, decided that I was completely irrelevant.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I think the word is boomer. I'm too old.
I know it is. Oh my God.
I know nothing. I actually had a good chat with a CEO who works for an international company recently, and he said that his boy, he can't even support his own boys with their business projects, and yet he advises businesses across the world, and he can't even advise his own boys because they won't listen to him. That's right. I think with regards to parents helping your own children, it's going to be really hard. But the only thing you can really do is advocate and use your connections as best as possible to help them.
Yeah.
I think with the situation you mentioned earlier about the work experience placement, it is so hard because you've got potentially one, maybe two teachers in a school who are responsible for finding the work placements for an entire year group.
That's right.
And they're not only trying to find placements for their students, but they're also in competition with every other school in the area.
That's right.
To find, and the paperwork and the risk assessments and the policies and procedures behind work placement is really, really hard. And if you as parents can potentially use the connections that you have to find work placements and maybe work with your school, but also work with your own sons and daughters to help them to find some work experience and to build those experiences for them. You know, if you know of any charity networks, encourage your young people to sort of reach out, help them to find the skills, empower your own sort of sons and daughters to find their own work experience. And it isn't difficult. You know, I remember when I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 17 at the time, so I rang up my local radio station, and I also managed to get a week in my local newspaper as well.
Wow.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, be a journalist, or I didn't know if I wanted to work in radio and do something like that. So I was very media focused. And then it was while I was at the radio station, I had a day in the marketing department and I thought, wow, I love this, and went and did a marketing degree. So, you know, it is, you know, I think we need to encourage young people to apply for their own work experience and try to empower them, but not expect them to do it themselves. I think we need to help them with the paperwork. We need to support them with ready-made paperwork, perhaps, but we actually need to encourage them. But as parents, we can start to make those connections on their behalf, and maybe set up those phone calls, those meetings, those conversations. And I think that's where parents can help. I also believe that every parent has got some work experience or some skill that they can pass on in some way as well.
That's right. Actually, you gave me an idea though. Wouldn't it be cool if parents of the school collectively, they come in and say that this is my business and I'm happy to take on, you know, students who are interested to learn, you know, that would be so awesome as a community project. Yeah, that would be, you know, I know of many business owners. And, you know, when you're talking about paper, absolutely, because my son wanted to go and work in the aquarium. I saw when I downloaded the application form, I was like, how can you expect a 15-year-old to tell you, you know, what is the change he wants to see, and what is, name a conservation idea you have, and why would we choose you? How would he even know? All he knows is he loves the ocean and he wants to do something to do with it.
It's interesting what they're asking for, because that would be so much better potentially as a conversation.
That's right.
You know, and I guess that application process is something that could be looked at. You know, like you say, why not have an evening where they say, right, we've got 3 workplace experiences available. Anyone interested, come in. And then they almost have the students can go around, look at it, and then they can ask some questions, almost in a sort of form of networking activity. And then the young people could then each have maybe a small 5-10 minute interview, and then they can select from that. Surely engaging and understanding, because otherwise you can have, as we all know, you can have someone that can write an amazing application, or their parents can write an amazing application for them, and they come in and they potentially they're good on paper, but they can't actually do what they say they're going to do.
Exactly. I agree. So how about whoever's watching this will mostly be business owners, because that's what's on my Facebook. So tell me, what can business owners do to help?
Well, what we're doing at the moment is to make it easier, and we work specifically with vocational education teachers. So vocational education is your Cert 2, Cert 3s that are being run in the schools, and these teachers are essentially running courses that are training and assessing skills for the workplace and knowledge for the workplace, whether it's community services or sport and recreation, business, IT, and so forth. So what we are doing is to connect teachers with industry. Is we run a program called Industry Engaged, and we interview, and we also provide case studies that are real life context with live discussions that follow up that. They're recorded. And then we provide mini reflections and quizzes that go with that, so teachers can engage with industry but really think critically. And then they have resources that they then lift and give to their students. So the students get those contexts, they get to hear from the people in industry as well. So for just less than an hour of your time, you can share your work that you do. You can talk about how, you know, you use those skills in practice in real world. You can talk about even if it's somebody who, you know, a lot of people say, well, I'm not an expert, or my job's not relevant. But I think when you see it from the fresh perspective of a young person who's never worked in retail, or has never been in a job, or has never necessarily delivered customer service, your job is really engaging to them.
Yes.
So if you don't need to have expert knowledge about education, you just need to be able to talk about the work that you do and share how you do that, which obviously with our questions and our case studies, we do that anyway. We make the connections and we do all the work. So if anybody out there that is working in either at the moment sport and recreation, if you're in hospitality, if you have a cafe, you're catering, you work in food, if you are in business, so any form of business, if you are IT, especially IT, digital media, or community services or volunteering, please do let me know, because we would absolutely love to share the work that you're doing. Any business around Australia, we have trainers around Australia on that are engaging. You know, we'd love to do a talk to you, to show you some of the examples. And as I said, it takes about 45 minutes of your time, but you could make a really big difference and help young people to learn through supporting trainers and the students.
Yeah, so Karen has given you a way you can help as a business owner. I mean, most of us watching this, whether it replay or, you know, live, we have kids, and by helping Karen grow what she's doing right now, we are helping our children and the generations to come, because there is such a huge gap. They study what they think they want to do, and they realize that that's not what they want, or, you know, it's so different from, because we romanticize what we think we want to do. It's like, you know, they don't realize the hard work that goes into it, or it is not what you see on TV. It's absolutely not. No. And you think that's what you want to do, but in reality it's something else entirely. So by helping Karen, we are helping our future generation. So before we go, I will let Karen tell you how you can find her and what are the things you can do to contribute. She will drop her links in the comments after this video.
Absolutely. So if you want to reach out, you can email me, Karen at Engaging Education, and it's Karen, Karen, at engagingeducation.com.au. That's probably the best way to reach me directly. You can also send me a message on our Engaging Education Facebook, or reach out. We've also got our Be the Difference Instagram, which I'm going to include in there as well. And Be the Difference Instagram is amazing. It's talking about helping young people to face the challenges that they're going to experience, real challenges like financial security, imposter syndrome, leadership, purpose and direction, mindset, and social media. So I might have said social media twice, but yeah, so it's that's a really great program, and we're building our Instagram following. So if you want to follow our Be the Difference program as well, so I'll put that connection. And on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is brilliant as well. We've got lots of professionals in our network who are on there. And I've got to mention as well, our new website is coming online at the end of this month, and we're having a little mini wall of fame. So everyone who has contributed by sharing their insights, by sharing their expertise, whether that was at a former event or online, you will appear on there with your name and the organization that you represent when you do the interview, and we'll be sharing it. And we've got over 100. It's amazing.
Wow.
People that have actually helped us in our journey so far. So we would love to add you to our wall of fame and share a post about you on social media as well. So how we can help you in any way, then that would be great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is definitely, I'm sure everyone, we have a little bit of something that we can do to help. And if you contact Karen, she will find a way to let you help. So we greatly encourage that. So that's our interview for today. I hope you find it useful. And if you need more information, please contact Karen. And together we can make a difference though for our children. So I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.